I've seen where you just feel this collective, like,
I've seen,
and people are just like,
I've seen where people had almost like PTSD, where they're like, I didn't believe there was a world without that person.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is
this cloud's parted, the
yeah,
sun was
oh,
shining.
it is exactly like that.
Yeah.
Like it would be like, oh my God, like it's from the heavens.
Exactly, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Halcyon Eco.
Peter, from everything I'm hearing, the number one issue with frying in seed oil right now is something called acrylamide. Can you tell me about that?
I can, Brian. Acrylamide it's a recent known thing, and very few people have ever even heard the word acrylamide. You know, I'd say of 200 or 300 people that I've spoke to over the last couple of months, maybe 10 understood what acrylamide was. You know, and that's including restaurateurs and owners and everyone. Yeah. Acrylamide is a chemical compound that forms when fryers are dirty. It's mainly formed through meat products and through fries or chips, as we call them in Ireland. You know, and again, going back to the circular motion, if you constantly fry something, it gets harder and harder and harder. Acrylamide is a product that's used within the chemical industry. And what it's found to be now is a cancer-containing agent. So restaurants that aren't managing their fryers are slowly poisoning their customers. You know, acrylamide now has become such a big health concern that in the EU now, you need to put things in place to show how you manage the acrylamide levels. In California, a new law has come out that shows you must show how to manage your acrylamide levels. You know, the federal government now is looking at acrylamide and how they're going to manage it on a state level side of things with acrylamide. But what restaurants have to understand is they are slowly poisoning their customers. And as acrylamide becomes more knowledgeable to people, people are very health conscious nowadays.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and you don't want to be going into a restaurant and you're tasting bad oil and you're looking at little black particles. Those little black particles are acrylamide.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're feeding them to your customer, then all you're doing is very, very slowly poisoning that customer. So when that customer in 40 years has health issues, you know, they can't directly say it was acrylamide, but you've played a part in putting that customer where they are.
Wow.
So I got two questions. Can you measure acrylamide in your oil, and does the Halcyon Eco remove it?
It does. We use a magnesium product to increase the size of the acrylamide particle. Acrylamide on a micron level is tiny. So what you need to do is you need to increase the size of the micron level within it. So what we use is a magnesium product that comes with the machine every month. You receive your magnesium and your filters every month. You put it into the fryer, it increases the size of the particle and it captures.
And then it captures the filter.
It's not going to capture everything. But what you have to understand, you have to be able to show how you manage the acrylamide levels, not how you remove them completely. And that is exactly what, you know, the current recommendations is turn your fryer down. Now what you're really saying is fry your food in colder oil. You know, that is not a solution.
Right.
You know, whereas the Halcyon Eco product is a solution to show how you manage your acrylamide and your micron levels. But I have to stress this enough. If you don't filter that fryer every day, you are creating acrylamide particles within that oil. If you don't do it if you do it once every 2 weeks, you are now poisoning your clients.
So is there a way to measure how much acrylamide is in your oil?
At this moment in time, the only way to measure is through a lab test. But all I can say is just watch this space.
Yeah. No, I love it. If you want to find out more about the Halcyon Eco, please go to restauranttopia.com and check it out. This is Restauranttopia.
Welcome back to Restauranttopia. How you guys doing today? You good?
Anthony,
Fantastic.
how you doing, buddy?
Man, I can't complain. We got Dave and Brian here. We got the whole crew together. It's a beautiful day.
Love
Raining outside, getting a
Love
break
it.
from the heat.
Yeah.
I love this. Well, Dave's got an outstanding episode that I can't wait to break down with him. Obviously, we have a little, prelude to it. I know a little bit about what you're talking about. But Dave, take us away. We're talking about culture beyond our four walls.
I appreciate that, Anthony. So we've talked a lot about culture within our businesses, okay? Like inside, trying to make sure we got the best culture. And there's all kinds of things, and I'll reference some things that we've all utilized and have heard and have done to try to make culture within the team great, and I'm going to talk about that as well. But I was inspired. I just read for the first time Cameron Mitchell's book. Okay, yes is the answer. What's the question?
Good
Okay.
book.
Have you guys read this?
I have a copy of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Have you read this?
I read it probably a month ago.
Yeah,
So I did
me
not
too.
read it. I still have a copy of it though.
Unbelievable. You will read it in one sitting. I'm
Okay.
telling you, you will get into it, and
Yep.
because we're in the industry,
Yeah,
it's compelling. I mean, I think if you sit down, you'll be done with it in a couple hours. Like you'll read it all the way through.
It's a good read.
It is.
I loved it.
He's done a couple things in his career.
Couple things.
Yeah.
So, obviously, yes is the answer. What's the question? That's, was inspired by, obviously, the customer wanting something. Maybe that's not on the menu. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those things. But I want to level set a little bit with just how you set this up from the beginning in your business. Okay.
Mhm.
So we learned probably it was probably 8 or 9 years ago from a company, really high level restaurant operators that, they were trying to go after the Malcolm Baldrige Award for Excellence, which is like a governmental award, but it's like Toyota and the Six Sigma and all those manufacturing and like
It's
dialed
handed out
in
by
like
the
lean
president.
manufacturing and all those things. Yeah. And so they decided as a restaurant group they were going to go do that, and they were successful. They became awardee of that
Which
that
is
award,
wild.
which is wild. And there's only 2 restaurant concepts in the country that have ever won it. This one and the other one they trained them.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of a big deal. So we came from that. From that training, we took a lot of things away. But one of the things that was really big for me is we created a mission statement. Okay. And you might think, okay, no big deal, mission statement. But if you create one, you think about it and you create it and it's the first thing you think about when you wake up and the last thing you think about when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like it keeps you on track. So I'll just share, like at Hillcrest Foods, our mission statement is love the employee and customer for lifetime loyalty. It's simple, nothing crazy. But again, love the employee and customer for lifetime loyalty. And intentionally, the employee is first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because we have a feeling, and I think, anybody that's got good culture probably knows that if you treat your internal people the right way, they're going to treat your customer the right way. And in the book, in Cameron Mitchell, he kind of has, Cameron Mitchell Restaurant Group and a triangle at the top. And then he calls them the associates. So the employees, and then the client or the customers, and then back up to the restaurant. So the restaurant group takes care of the employees takes care of the customers take care of the restaurant group.
Perfect.
And it kind of flows around and does that.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about a little bit more in this is a couple things he did to set up when he first started his restaurant group and what he did, the questions he asked himself, and then also how he involved people outside of his walls and took them into consideration in regards to culture and those things. So the 5 questions he asked himself, and he set a yellow, and sorry, spoiler alert, if you have not read the book, I'm going to give you some things from the book, but he sat down with a yellow notepad, okay, and he asked himself 5 questions. Okay, I'm starting a restaurant group. First of all, who are we? Now, I'm going to go through his answers, but I think from a listener standpoint, write down these questions, get your notepad, and do this yourself.
This is again, I read the book. This is a great exercise.
Unbelievable.
Like this is something that, in my opinion, creates a foundation.
And if you know some of his story, like this is an unbelievable human being, like a little bit of his story of his life. And he was very young when he did this. So this was like, monumental in him catapulting himself, but he says, who are we? Okay. So his answer was great people delivering genuine hospitality. Again, pretty simple, to the point, but very meaningful. Okay. I'm not saying you rip that off, but the question is, who are we? Okay. So who are you? Okay. You're running restaurants now, again, back into it. So when you think about that, like, who are we? Be nice to have a nice, simple, concise,
100%.
great answer for that. Okay. The second one was, what do we want to be? Cameron Mitchell's answer was an extraordinary restaurant company. An extraordinary restaurant company, or extraordinary, but I like it when I like the emphasis on extra. Again, doesn't have to be your answer, but the question is, what do you want to be? Third question is, why are we in business?
Wow.
Okay. To continue to thrive, driven by our culture and fiscal responsibilities. Now, he didn't say make money and then make people happy. He said culture, and I believe purposely, culture and fiscal responsibilities.
Isn't that such a good lesson on destination versus outcome, or journey versus destination? Because the culture piece is like, well, you're here to enjoy the ride, enjoy your life, right?
Yeah.
And the outcomes are the money and the profits and everything else that comes with it.
Sure.
Because it's such a big bulk of it. Like the money hitting your bank account's exciting, but it's fleeting. The culture's day in, day out, all day, every day.
But also that money hitting the bank allows you to remain in business and have employ people, and so it's
no
not.
question.
It goes back to, I think it was my episode, and not to plug it.
Yeah,
it's
please.
definitely worth listening to.
You got the number?
I do not have the number.
Probably the best
it'll be in the,
episode
it'll be in the
ever
show
heard.
notes.
We'll
I know
put the
that.
number in the show notes.
But it's irresponsible not to make a profit.
Yeah, that was Paul Saginaw from Zingerman said that.
Yeah.
And that was, I think Dave and I were sitting there at the same time when he said that. It was like,
yeah.
That was worth the money, that one sentence right there.
100%.
Yeah.
Because
Don't feel bad about it.
don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if you again cost out your menu, you're making money, and you make $5 on, I don't know, like a really unique seared tuna with coconut and wasabi sauce or something like that, that you would have on your menu.
Why would you do that?
I'm just saying that's an option for a menu item.
Oh, okay, all right,
So,
all right.
Like, if
Where did you see that?
It's legendary.
I hate you so much.
That is the sort of thing that, like, it allows you to pay the bills, pay the rent, hire people, give people
Sure.
raises. Like, so I love that he puts in there, and I noted when I read it myself, was that fiscal responsibility,
Yes,
because
yeah.
it is important.
Yeah, absolutely. So okay, question number, where am I at? 1, 2.
You're at 4.
I'm at 4. Oh, I'm sorry. It is 4 questions, not 5. Sorry.
Okay.
What is your role?
Ooh, this one hit hard for me. 'cause
Now this is great. This one's great. To make raving fans of the 5 groups of people that we do business with. Okay. Now, who are those 5 groups of people? Employees. Now, he called them associates, but I'm gonna say employees. Guests, purveyors, partners, which in his terminology was investors, partners, investors,
Yeah.
and communities. Okay.
So good.
To make raving fans of those 5 groups of people. So we could talk, and we have talked all day long about how do you make raving fans of your employees.
Yeah.
We've exhausted that, and
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
could talk more about it because it's very important. But that's well known that you need to do.
Yeah.
Make raving fans of your guests. Probably talked a lot about that.
We've talked a little bit about that. Yeah.
Okay, that's something that's it's been gone over. We'll put it that way.
We've done a couple beats on that one.
We have, yeah. To make a raving fan of your purveyors.
This, to me, hit so hard. I want to see where you're going to go with it, but, like, to me, it hit hard.
Yeah, no, and I think where I'm going to go with it,
Yeah.
because there's not many operators out there that are even taking in consideration. Now, you may have a great relationship with the sales rep, or you may have a great
Right.
relationship with the manager or whatever it is, but not only relationship, but to make a raving fan of somebody that's servicing your restaurant, whether it be the distributor, the broadline distributor, the specialty distributor, the guy that writes really long contracts and brings your rugs and towels.
Yeah.
All those all those different people that interact with your restaurant and service your restaurant. How to make them raving fans of your business.
Because they are out there. I mean, this is the question I get all the time. Brian, where do you like to eat? You're in the food service business. Like, that is a huge
And
question.
the first thing out of your mouth is the guy that treats you like shit.
No,
Or-
it's
oh,
actually not.
it's
No,
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
To me, there's a selfish motive as far as they're going to send you business because they are going to be a raving fan.
Mhm.
But also, what about the fact that you're flipping the script on this is not an adversary relationship? We are not going like this is the enemy and we're going to try to beat them up and they're going to try to beat us up and it's pure laissez-faire capitalism and we're going to come to the best result.
Yeah.
Is actually, all right, you're my de facto partner as my purveyor and we're going on a journey together.
Yes.
And how can we make this relationship better?
It's funny we brought this up because I just had a conversation with a group of managers the other day about how important it is to make sure that your delivery drivers have a nice cold water or even a sandwich for the road.
Yeah.
And then we had a discussion about like how hospitality is the way. That's what we're in business for. That's how we all make money. And it also makes us feel really good. So we get to make money off feeling really good. Why aren't we more hospitable to these ancillary partners that we have other than just our customers, including coworkers, delivery drivers, sales reps? Everybody deserves hospitality in some capacity. And quite frankly, it's what we're good at and what we're like doing. So just do it.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't want to say that the industry is just filled with assholes and that's I mean, there's people like our industry is like consumed with great human beings and having those relationships like that exists, okay? But to have that be part of your kind of your mission,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
And it's self-selecting too. I'm going to do a beat on this just because I think it's so important to the audience to kind of clarify this point. Anthony and I were having a conversation about a vendor that is, I would say, just
The worst.
the all in all horrible. Like, I don't know. Like,
They have great products, but they're the worst.
Mm-hmm.
well, they've weaponized the system to exploit the customer contractually,
Mm-hmm.
and have used a negative culture of exploitation for their drivers and their sales reps
Mm-hmm.
to try to swindle honest, hardworking restaurateurs.
And it's in an area where operators simply don't have expertise.
Well, and it's a necessary thing, but a blind spot as far
I was just
as
gonna say it's a blind spot. Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
You're not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
It's not like your food cost. It's not like your
Right.
You know,
and we won't name names, but everyone knows who I'm talking about. And I will tell you,
rugs and rags.
there's going to be
And fire.
there's
Yeah.
well, and anything else you can think of that
Yeah.
because they're going to get into those industries.
They're buying up everything.
Yeah. So can you look outside of their ecosystem and find something better for your operation?
Yeah.
But with that, and back to your point, David, like you want to have the right people around you as vendors that have that similar mindset, and that to have that mindset going into it to make them a raving fan. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I think it's also like you go back to episode 24 talking about like how to be important to a distributor, like how
Yeah.
to select a distributor, but
Yeah,
also
yeah.
in that episode we talked about how do you be important to a distributor.
Have 8 of them.
Yeah, right.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. But and it's not even about like forget buying from whoever you buy from, but
Yeah.
you know, I've been blessed working here, and we've got great customers at Hillcrest Foods.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to have people that really care about us the way we care about them.
Yeah.
And when, again, like Brian, the phone test, you know, when that phone rings, am I looking at it and going, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" Or am I like,
Yeah.
you take that big breath and you're like,
Yeah.
"Hello," you know? It's a different reaction. And so I've got a lot of like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" You know, in my
Yeah.
life, thankfully, because of the way we do things, but also because of the customers we've selected to do business with that give a shit about us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's awesome. So that was the third one. So to make a raving fan of partners. So again, you're running a restaurant, you've got investors potentially. They could have the same last name as you. They could be, you know, an SBA loan. It could whatever it is. You know, it could be a bank, whatever the situation is. But how do you make those investors raving fans? Well, being fiscally responsible is probably a good way to start.
That's a pretty good.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know, what I mean? And making sure that they're getting a return. And when you read Cameron's book, man, it is incredible what he went through, the money he raised, like how he did it was just.
We all know how hard this is, and to see his level of success in this industry, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It is really, really cool, and such a good guy. You know, Warren Buffett, like we always talk about it. You know, rule number 1, make sure the investor gets paid back. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1.
Yeah.
You know, because
I love that.
you'll never get another chance to raise the money if you don't pay back.
Yeah,
the
mess
investor.
with people's time, mess with people's money.
Yep.
That's the easiest way to make an enemy. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
You know, so the last one is communities. Okay. And again, you know, this could be as small as, okay, what are you doing actively in the communities? I think we've had episodes about this. Brian, you've done some stuff about intertwining yourself in the community.
Yeah.
How do you take care of it? How do you give back? You know, all those different things. So, you know, a couple of things I want to like customer facing stuff. Like, so the milkshake story, if you know from Cameron Mitchell, like him and his wife went to a restaurant. His wife, I think, asked for a milkshake. They're like, "We don't have milkshakes." And he's like, "Well, do you have ice cream? Do you have milk? Do you have, you know what I mean?" And they're like, yes. He's like, "Okay, you can make a milkshake." And then like the server walked away and he looked at his wife. He's like, "That would never happen in my restaurants." You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and so, you know,
It's
their
not like-
philosophy is like, I'd go across the street to get a milkshake somewhere else and bring it in, you know, just to make sure yes is the answer.
But
you know?
but you also, you know, he went through it. You have everything. You have the
Yeah.
blender. Like you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
it. Like
yeah,
this is possible. We're not
Right.
asking for like some crazy, you know, coconut tuna dish.
Right,
Like, this
exactly,
is like,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Damn it. One of my favorite stories about this, we were in Vegas eating and we were with like a 12 top and
Oh,
we were
nice.
a really renowned restaurant out there. And
Nobu.
no,
okay.
it wasn't that renowned, but it was pretty high up there. It's one of the top grossing independents actually, but
Oh,
it's,
nice.
we were there and there's a couple people who were price sensitive at the table and a couple of us were there to dine. And so
Yeah.
we went all in and they did not. And the server's like, "Okay, so it's only one check." And I'm like, "Oh, no, we need separate checks, you know, these groups. And he's like, "No, I can't do that." And I looked over, I'm like, "You can't do that." And he goes, "No, our system won't let it." I was like, "Oh, is that Micros?" And he's like, "Sure is." I'm like, "Oh, great, let me show you how." And I walked over and I brought up a screen and started separating
God.
checks. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. That is
Oh,
awesome.
that is awesome. Is
I
that
might-
micros?
I had a couple grappas in me, so I was feeling pretty
I was gonna
confident.
say,
Nah, I
is
love
there
it.
a
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
of you on the wall in the back? Like, don't let this guy back.
Yeah. No, it's
But you know what it was is he didn't want to split the checks. It's a pain in the
Yeah,
butt,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a high volume place in Vegas, and he just
Yeah.
didn't want to do it. So,
Right.
but it was like so anti hospitality because he didn't
Yeah.
understand the real awkwardness at the table when certain ones of us are ordering a ton of apps, and the other two people are kind of like, well, I didn't budget this, you know, I don't want to eat any of these because I don't want to be culpable for the financial impact. You know?
it to me, that is something that a restaurant has to teach their staff, because there is like, you're punishing that person sometimes for, and I just, again, it's the same with alcohol. Like the person who's 9 drinks deep, and you're like, all right, let's go halvesies on this. And I was like, well, I had waters.
Yeah. My man, he knew how to do it.
Oh yeah.
He knew how- He stopped me about 2 steps in. Says, "All right,
I got it.
Oh, I think I can pick
Yeah.
this up. I'm
Yeah.
Wow, you're very trainable.
He just, it's funny, huh?
So I had another example that I experienced recently. I was with the CEO of our company, and we were at a local restaurant. They got 5 or 6 units, and they're a Pepsi house, so everything was Pepsi on the guns and everything.
Okay.
And he's like, I wish you had Diet Coke. The guy goes, hold on. He goes in the back, brings out a can of Diet Coke, ice, pours it, sets it in front of him. He's like, so come to find out, the guy that did that was actually one of the owners of this group.
No way.
And he was like, that's like, what did you do? He's like, you know what? It happens all the time that people are just Coke people.
Yeah.
So he's like, we have it in the cooler in the back, cans, in case somebody, we've chosen Pepsi as a concept, but we have Coke in the back just in case somebody, and that's how we handle it. And he's like, that's amazing. You know what I mean? So
That is cool. That's a cool story.
Not quite the milkshake story, but still, like they had they either had the foresight, or they just had experienced it enough to be like, why can't we give somebody Coke? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is this? Yeah.
Yeah. Shouldn't be a big deal.
And you're gonna make money.
Yeah.
People, like, let's be honest. There's no price sensitivity
Right.
for the person who wants the Diet Coke.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah, and I never looked to see what he charged for the Diet Coke. I don't even know. Maybe
no
he
one
didn't.
ever has.
Maybe he
No one
didn't.
has ever looked, because they wanted the Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Took price right out of the equation.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely took note of that because I know some Pepsi houses that could use some Diet Coke in the office for sure.
Yeah. So I want to reference, and this will be in the show notes as well. This circulated around our company quite a few years ago. It was a TED Talk by Margaret Heffernan, and it was called "Forget the Pecking Order at Work."
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to highlight a couple of things in there because, again, this is more internal culture, but she talks about the success of a team and people that win at a high level. There's 3 different things that those teams have. Longevity, so they've been together and worked together for a long time. High social sensitivity, meaning that everybody's voice is heard. Now, if you go back to Anthony's episode of the suggestion box, break room to the boardroom, again, like high social sensitivity, everybody's heard. Everybody has the ability to speak and make their suggestions and do those types of things. So, and then the third thing was a woman on the team, which, basically translated into a little bit more high social sensitivity, having a woman on the team instead of like just a bunch of, and again,
Frat house.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she warns against like the high performers. Okay. Like she calls them the super chickens. Okay. Talking about the pecking order, that they can destroy collaboration over time. That again, if you aren't taking Anthony's advice on the suggestion box and know everything and you're the super chicken, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, those things can crush that culture, which again, it doesn't allow you to resonate that outside,
Well, and it goes back to so many influencers that talk about, firing your best sales rep, and why, if that person has a toxic culture, any financial gain that you're going to get in the short term from a high performer in his or her sales is going to be diminished by the long-term effect it's going to have on your culture.
Yeah, there's no arguments here.
Yeah, and it goes back. I didn't think about this, but it goes back to the quadrants, the performance and attitude. You know what I mean? Where good attitude, good performance. Okay, keeper. That's you promote that person, like that's good. Good attitude, bad performance. You coach them. You know what I mean? What would be the next
Bad
one?
attitude,
Bad
good
attitude,
performance.
good performance. Well, let's skip that one.
Okay.
And what would be the fourth one?
Bad performance.
Bad performance, bad attitude. So everybody knows what to do with those 3.
Yeah.
You promote, you coach, you fire.
Yeah.
It's the good performance and bad attitude that everybody screws up.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Can I tell you that I pushed a co-coach because I coach Little League baseball and softball and stuff, just kind of give back. And I like making sure my kids back clean up and play shortstop. So that's a joke. I
Makes
know.
sense.
I was like, genius.
No, I'm taking notes.
That's called daddy ball, in case you're
Yes.
not used to it.
Oh, I'm familiar with it. Like it's
Yeah.
like,
So I don't.
why is that one dad on this? Why is he coaching? Like that's. I thought the coach was. Oh, I see. He wants his kid to play.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
No, if I do that, in all fairness, my kids usually bat 7th or 8th. I make sure
because that's the human you are.
Yeah,
versus being like, all right, it's, I mean,
because I know how supremely biased I am to think my kids are the absolute best. So
Right.
I just kind of curb it for some objectivity, I suppose. But we were talking about filling the last 4 spots of our roster for the All-Star team, and we went through this exact same thing. I saw an old-timey coach talking about the archetypes you're talking about as far as baseball players are concerned.
yeah.
And I'll tell you, it really helped our decision-making process, and our culture was outstanding. These kids outperformed for 6 games. It was the most electric All-Star season. We didn't make it very far. We were Final Four in our district, which was good. But the process of those 6 games was some of the funnest baseball I've ever been a part of. It was outstanding. And why is because we had that continuity. We had that culture.
Yeah.
And we got most of the bad attitudes. No matter how good you are, no matter how well you hit, you're going to bring down the rest of the team. So we lose all the synergy we have.
My son plays on 2 AAU teams, and it was so interesting to me as far as a, student of the game. The teamwork on one team was next level. The willingness to pass and play together, and there was probably 12 kids on the team, and they just cycled in and out. Like there was no egos. And then the other team had so much ego on it. They wouldn't pass. Like and the team with the good attitude would beat the socks off of everybody.
Yep,
sure.
That's not just basketball. I see it softball. I see it in baseball. It just depends. But where does it start?
And
where does it start is the question.
It starts at home.
And with a coach. Culture starts at the
Yeah,
top.
it does. That's true.
Yeah. What's a coach's objective?
Attitude's reflection of leadership, Captain.
No question. Yeah, I think that's
Wow.
pretty.
This is good. I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put that quote in the show notes too.
Yeah. I like that. No, put the quadrants in there, because I think that's a great social media post and just great information for people to have on the wall. I mean,
just be mindful of it.
Yeah. I've gotten almost all of my diplomas and certificates covered up with motivational stuff. So
I can tell you, in restaurant operations is a real thing too, especially in it's both front and back of the house, where you have the people who are riding their own train, so to speak. They know how good they are, and they don't give a shit about the rest of the team because they're the performers. Everybody else is there to help them. I've fired a number of those people, probably, but fallen prey to more of those people than I've fired, regrettably. But I've made those where you to your point, you fired the best salesperson or whatever. I've fired my best cooks. I've fired my best servers. I've fired my best chefs. And the addition by subtraction is drastic.
Yeah. And you made the right decision when, I've seen like actually clapping and round of applause after.
Oh,
and I've seen where you just feel this collective, like,
I've seen,
and people are just like,
I've seen where people had almost like PTSD, where they're like, I didn't believe there was a world without that person.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is
this clouds parted, the sun was shining.
It is exactly like that.
Yeah.
Like it would be like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like it's from the heavens.
Exactly. Yeah.
It seems like it's part of the human condition to think past, like, oh, we couldn't do it without that person or a top performer. But you got to kind of zoom out and look at what performance is. And it's not just the block and tackle of the job and executing the dish or serving the table. It's how you interact with the team, how you help, how you do all those other things. And
Like myself, I mean, I'm humble enough to know I'm replaceable.
what was that word?
Humble enough to know. Yeah.
Humble.
But-
I know we're just learning that.
Yeah.
We learned it a couple episodes
But
ago.
but I'm confident enough to know it would take 4 people.
I got that text the other day. Did I tell you about
Would that be considered a humble brag? Is that
Yeah.
what that's called?
Yeah. Did I tell you I got that text the other day? Is that where you got that from?
I saw it on the internet.
Oh, I got that text from someone the other day.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
really?
were they being serious, or was it like, haha?
I don't know.
Because I was joking.
They threw the ball
they
at
threw
the
that
golden
at you?
retriever, and you didn't.
Yeah.
you didn't
No,
throw
it
it
got
back
left
yet.
on red.
Yeah.
Hey, boss.
And then
That's what they laid on you?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It didn't go over very well.
Yeah.
Now, does the person
has to be a
does the person
backstory.
have any sense of humor, or is it just ego?
I don't know.
Okay, we can't really. It's an
Okay, we're
employee
gonna-
thing.
yeah,
Can't
we're
really
gonna-
like until you fire them, then we can talk about it.
Cut it out.
I can tell you, I am not capable of dealing with that individual on an individual basis anymore. Someone else has to do it for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just gave this advice the other day. Like, you want to be a good contributing member to the team, keep your manager excited.
Mm-hmm.
like that they want to pick up your call, that they want to respond to your text, that they
yeah.
like. Again, it goes back to, are you serving the company?
Right.
Are you serving the employee?
Mhm.
All of it.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple other things, just some stuff that we do when we're hiring. So again, like beyond the walls, when we're bringing people into our walls, there's basically 5 bullet points we review, and we don't only do it internally with the candidate. I actually talk about it in the first interview, that this is what we're looking for, because if it does move forward, they have a good understanding of like what we're looking for, but also it sets up like who we are. You know what I mean? Like what we're about. So number 1 is great human being. So when we're hiring, we're looking for great human beings to add to the team.
Yep.
We're looking for high likability. We're looking for, can we change their life? Okay.
Mhm.
So meaning like, is the job that we're able to offer them going to change their life? Okay. Meaning everything from they're working in a certain industry now, and our industry could be way better. The lifestyle's better. Maybe the money's better, whatever it is. A lot of times people will overlook that and wonder why they have a bunch of turnover. Because I'll just give you an example. Let's say it's in sales. Okay?
Yeah.
In sales, if I'm looking to place people in sales in my company as like a maintainer or somebody that handles accounts, they're really a service person. They're really like, and they have to sell a little bit, but it's high level service. You know what I mean? If I've got somebody that just graduated with a bachelor's degree in sales, that person's probably not going to fit in that job.
No.
Because they're looking to go out and close deals and do traditional sales stuff. You know what I mean? So you got to understand, like, could I change that person's life? Not in their perspective. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Like it all goes to the expectation. If the person, like, I am going to be a copier salesman and close deals and never have to worry about servicing these things, like you're not gonna be a maintainer.
Yeah, it's just so it's setting up for success. And then the 4th one is, can they be with us for life? That's one that, like, again, those other things, if they check yes, you know what I mean, you kind of get a better feel. You never really know, but and then the last thing is, are they fun and a little competitive? We like to have fun, and I say a little competitive because if they're too competitive, they suck all the fun out of it. You know what I mean? So so it's fun, little competitive. That's our 5 bullet points. Feel free to rip that off if you like. But
it's the best, and I think we may have even brought it up in past episodes, but I love that list, and I'm hiring somebody, and that's I made a whole binder. Again, I may be overly ChatGPT in this whole onboarding process, but I'm changing my onboarding process so I set the person up for success 100% of the time. That's a PALS reference, but I think, man, I think setting those expectations and having that whether it's SOPs or manuals or something like that, and my job is very unique in the sense of they have to deal with me. So how do I set that person up for success? And I feel it is by managing those expectations throughout the process.
Yep. Yeah, no question. So that's basically what I got, guys. I mean,
that was cool. And check out the book. The link will be in the show notes. You got to check this out. And if you're not from Ohio, or Mr. Mitchell has places in Florida.
Shoot, you don't have to be. He's all over.
Well, he's up to how many restaurants now?
Oh my God, he's a machine.
It's
crazy.
You got to check. You got to check out his operations.
Watch Ocean Prime soon.
Yeah,
he's gonna have. That's a rainmaker.
This is a next level operator, and you should really take your team there and experience his level of hospitality, because there's so much you can learn. I mean, I would listen to all the Restauranttopia episodes first and then go there.
Yeah, for sure.
Do that.
Good idea.
Okay, guys, appreciate it.
Well, no, Dave, I took more than a half-page notes from that
I
episode.
love it.
Yeah,
exactly. It was good. I was
Yeah.
waiting to just go to restauranttopia.com and get the show notes. But...
Here's the thing. I can't wait.
He's implementing these tomorrow.
Okay, that's true.
True story. I got a project on Monday. It's going to start right here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Looking forward to the newsletter on this episode, and thanks for
gonna be pretty
listening. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Nice job,
everybody.
Dave.